start on the floor. Stick onto our backs. Just find a really nice, comfortable position. Feet onto the floor. Soles of your feet together. And then let your knees hang wide. So we're just stretching, opening out our hips to start with. You can close your eyes here if you want to. Hands down onto the floor, palms facing up. And then just take a couple of deep breaths and we just settle into the ground. And just let our hips flex open. Stretching through, all the way through the insides and the insides of our legs. So just stay there just for a minute or two. Super. And then just let your knees hang a little bit wider down towards the floor, a little bit heavier. Super. Bring those knees back up to the top and come up to a seated position and cross your legs. So I'm going to spin to the side, but stay facing the way that you are. And then hands onto your knees, and we're just going to stretch through our necks to start with. So head side to side. Find all of those stretches in your neck. If you want to, you can close your eyes. It can help you just to feel it a little bit more. As your head comes to one side, try and pull down the shoulder on the other side. Make that muscle as long as possible to stretch it through. And place your left hand down onto the ground next to you. Right hand comes up over the top. And over to the side, stretching all the way through the length of your body, all the way up to your fingertips. Try and keep your seat bones on the floor. So see, particularly your right side, try and keep that seat bone on the floor. You're stretching all the way up to your fingertips and your right hand. Then back up to the middle, right hand down onto the floor, left hand all the way over the top again. Pushing those seat bones deep into the floor. So see if you can feel contact with the ground, particularly on your left one this time. Good. Back up to the middle and over to the other side again. Left hand to the floor, right arm up, over the top, big stretch. Seat bones on the floor, as far across the side of that right finger as you can. Good. And one more back to the other side, nice and slowly. Hand comes down to the floor. And your left arm up over the top, keeping that arm straight, reaching as far as you can. Super. Back to the middle. Now bring your right leg straight. Keep it at the angle that it was whilst it was crossed. And then hands in front of you. And we're just going to fold forwards down towards the floor. So try not to pull yourself down. Just fold forward, chin to chest. After a deep breath in, just let yourself sink into that stretch. And then come up to a full seated position again. This time we're going to lengthen our spine. So imagine you've got a piece of rope from your hips all the way up through the top of your head. It's pulling you up really, really tall, and we're going to use that to come down straight this time. So before we were all curled over, this time straight as possible. So you won't be able to go down anywhere near as far this time. You might feel it start to stretch on the inside of your leg whilst you're straight. Take a couple of deep breaths here, keeping your spine as straight as you can. Good. Then come back up to that nice full seated position again. Right hand over your right knee, left hand on the other side. So you're twisting your shoulders this time, keeping your hip bones and your seat bones down. And again, fold forward. So you can bend into a fold on the first one. So try not to pull down on your leg. You're keeping your hands and your arms relaxed. Good. And breathe in, up to that nice straight seated position again. And this time fold forward. Imagine that right all the way through, putting the top of your head forward and then straight into that stretch. So again, you won't be able to get as far. And just hold it there. And then come back up to the top. Bring your right leg over your left knee. Into a glute stretch. And then your left hand comes across. Hooks you in beyond that knee and twist to the side, lifting over your right shoulder. Try and keep your spine, I can see, spine really tall, top of your head looking up towards the ceiling. Take 2 deep breaths. On the second deep breath, just twist into that stretch and lift a bit further, lifting over your shoulder. And then unwind, left hand back to your hips. Right leg into that cross-legged position again. And then we'll bring our left leg out to the side this time. Good. And fold forward, chin to chest. So we're rounding into this fold to begin with. Good. As relaxed as you can be and not trying to force it. Just take a couple of deep breaths here. And then come back up into a nice tall seated position. This time sitting really tall. Imagine that right all the way up through the top of your head and fold forward with a really straight spine this time. Good, so you're not folding quite so far, but you probably feel it on the inside of your leg. One more big deep breath here. And as you breathe in, come all the way back up to the top. Left hand comes over your knee, right hand comes next to it. And then fold forwards again this time. Super. So just be heavy down into this stretch. And come all the way back up to your nice tall position. And then fold forward with a long straight spine, leading with the top of your head. So again, you won't go quite so far over that knee this time. Good, one more deep breath. Just fold just a little bit heavier in towards your knee. And come all the way back up to the top. Left foot comes over the top of your right knee this time. And then your right elbow across, hook in onto your knee and twist, lifting it over your shoulder. Tall, straight spine, pulling the top of your head up towards the ceiling. Look over your left shoulder, twisting your spine. And then start to unravel that stretch. Your hands come down, legs back into your cross position. And then roll forwards onto your hands and knees. Good. Tuck your chin under, press up through the floor into your cat. You're trying to round your shoulders, pushing the floor away, separating those shoulder blades side to side. And then pull your hips in all the way towards your elbows, trying to narrow that gap. Good. And then relax back through, tailbone comes up to the ceiling. Shoulder blades down into your back pockets this time, chin up. And then back through into your Halloween cat. Really push the floor away, pressing through the heel of your hand. Feel a stretch across your back. Good, and then back into your cow position, tailbone up to the ceiling, chin up. And this time start to wiggle your hips and your shoulders. Find all those stretches. And then back up into your cat. Exactly the same again. Do your twisting and your turning. Finding the stretches. And then you can go between your cat and your cow position. Having a good wiggle here. Do what feels good. Rotate your hips. And just find where feels nice for you to stretch out this morning. Good. Come back to a neutral position. Big toes together, widen out your knees and sit back onto your ankles. Press those hands forwards, bring your arms down towards the floor. Face down, just rest here for a second. You might feel the stretch up the insides of your legs. Good. Just let the insides of your arms, your armpits all sink down towards the floor, let your chest sink down. Good. Press up through your hands and let your hips come down towards the floor. Shoulders over wrists. Chin up. Just take a few breaths here. Just let yourself settle into the stretch. Opening up your back. Pull your shoulder blades down towards your hips. Lengthening your neck. Good. Then we're going to press back into that child's pose position. But this time we're going to leave our hips up high. So press your hands forwards, shoulder blades down. So you're leaving your hips in the air. Pressing your upper body down as far as you can. So big stretch through your shoulders, through your chest. Good, and pull your hands in back towards you. Bring those hips down towards the floor again. Up. And just start to feel your lower back opening up a little bit more. And this time you can lift over one shoulder and then the other if you want to. If you want the extra stretch, if you're ready. Good, and back into that puppy pose again, pushing your hips up to the sky. And your hands away from your upper body down. Super. So really push your shoulders, push your chest down towards the floor. Feel that stretch across your upper back. Good. And bring your hands in and back down, hips to floor again. And then have a wiggle here, find all those stretches across your abs, up along your sides. Okay, big toes together, press all the way back, widen those knees again, sit back to your ankles. And just relax down into this pose again. Just allowing your back to settle. And press back through your hands onto your hands and knees. Curl those toes under and up into your downward dog triangle. Lovely. Just feel the stretch here in your calves. And then when you're ready, pedal through one foot at a time. Pressing each heel down to the floor, feeling the stretch through your calves and your hamstrings. And then when you're ready, start to introduce a bit of a hip wiggle, so you're stretching that leg a little bit more, loosen up your lower back a bit further. Good. Keep your chin tucked into your chest, so you want to think that your knees are up towards your hips. Good, and big step forward with your right foot in between your hands. Left knee comes down to the floor and prop yourself up on your right leg at the front. Super. Just lean forward into that stretch. You can either leave your toe curled under at the back or you can settle it down and point it down. Super. If you're happy leaning into that stretch, you can lift your arms up for a little bit more. If you want further still, lift up towards your fingertips and lean back. Really open up the stretch into your hip flexor. Good. A couple of deep breaths here. Just stretch forward as you can. Good. Bring both of those hands down to the floor. The other side of your foot, and then lift your right arm up, fingertips to the ceiling, twisting around towards that leg. Good. Lift that up towards your fingers. Full stretch. And then just lunge forward a little bit more if you can. Nice. Bring that right hand down to the inside of your foot and just let your leg roll across out to the side so your right foot goes onto the edge. So you're leaning on the right edge of your foot. Opening up those hips a little bit more. If you want to feel a bigger stretch, you can drop down onto your elbows, letting that knee hang wide. And just do what's comfortable for you. You can stay up on your hands, you're still having a huge benefit here. Lovely. Let that knee come back into the middle. Right hand comes up over the top, so you're framing your foot again, one hand either side. And then we're going to lean back, stretching through the back of our leg. Good. So you can either stay high or you can come all the way back, sit on your ankle and fold forward. So it's up to you what feels good. A couple of big deep breaths here. You should feel it all the way along the back of your leg. Good. Bring your weight back forward onto that front foot. Walk your hands forward a little bit more if you want to. We're going to lift this foot up and tuck our toe in onto the left side of our left knee and then lean forward onto your front leg and push those hips down towards the floor. Let's see if everybody's got that. So your left toes now are just on the left, sorry, your right toes are just on the left of your hips. Super. And then if you want to, you can drop down onto your elbows and again you're feeling the stretch through your glutes. You might feel a little bit through the inside of your leg as well. If you're comfy there, you can drop your head down, forehead down to the mat and widen your elbows, giving you space. And just relax into this pose. Good. Couple of deep breaths here. You should start to feel the stretch intensify as you sink further down in towards the mat. And then you can press up with your hands up into a seated position. And just feel a little bit of a stretch this time up through your lower back. Good, then press up through your hands, bringing your foot back to meet the other one. Curl your toes under and back up into downward dog. Heels to the floor, pressing them down one at a time. Big stretch through the backs of your calves. And then start to do your hip wiggles as well. This time you can start to move your shoulders, bringing your shoulders in towards your hips. Loosening up your spine and loosening up the backs of your legs. Lovely. Couple more on each side. And then big step through your left foot this time, up to your hands, right knee comes down. And then just prop yourself up onto your front leg. Good, lean forwards into that stretch. Try and keep your front leg at a right angle. Lovely, and if you're settled there, you can lift your arms up, leaning forward into your stretch a little bit more. And then again, if you want further, lifting up towards your fingertips and up back. Good, one more deep breath. Just sink a little bit further into that stretch, into your front leg. And then arms come down. Leave your right hand on the floor, left hand comes up this time, twisting towards your left leg, looking up towards your fingertips. Big deep breath here, leaning forward into that front leg. Super. Bring your left hand down, this time to the inside of your left foot. Good, let your knee hang wide, rolling over onto the outside of your foot. Good, sink into that stretch. If you want to drop down onto your elbows, you are likely to find that one side stretches better than the other. So don't worry if you can't go down quite as far on one side. Couple of deep breaths into this stretch again. Good, and then when you're ready, push back up onto your hands. Left hand over the top of your foot, so your feet are your hands are either side. And lean back onto your right leg. Left leg straight in front of you, and either stay here for this stretch all the way along your hamstrings, or you can go all the way back, sit down and lean forward. So choose which one you want to do. Good, couple more breaths here. And then bring your weight forwards again, over around this top foot. Lift your toes up, place them down next to your right knee. So on the right side of your right knee. And then lean forwards, hips down towards the floor. Keeping those toes to your right side. Good, feel that stretch. And then when you're ready, drop down to your elbows if you want to. Super. If you want further stretch to widen those elbows, make space and bring your head down, forehead down towards the mat. Super, just sit there and stretch through. Let yourself sink deeper into the mat. Good, a couple more big deep breaths here. And then lift up, pressing the floor away into a seated position. Let your back arch. Super, feeling that stretch. And then curl your back toe under. Press up, bringing your foot all the way back into downward dog position again. Super, pedaling through. And then as you're pedaling, just step your feet slightly wider, so they're at least hip width distance apart, and walk your hands in towards your toes, bending your knees as you come closer. Super, when you get to your toes, just straighten your legs a tiny bit. We're going to take a big deep breath, straighten our legs, leading up with the crown of our head, straight back, and then breathe out, let your body fold forwards, bend your knees. So a couple more of those. You breathe in, pushing your knees straight back, fingertips come up just below your knees, and breathe out, let your body fold forwards again. We're still stretching through those hamstrings. Just a couple more of those. Big breath in, make your spine as straight as you can, leading with the back of your head. And out, relax down to the floor. One more of each. Good. And this time we're going to have a big bend of our knees and come all the way up to the top. Super. And then big step forward with one foot into a lunge. Knees and hips facing forwards and just bend down into here. Tilt your hips forward a little bit so we feel a stretch along the front. Super. When that starts to ease off, just twist around on that back foot so it's parallel with the edge of your mat. Keep your front foot forwards, arms up to the side, and we're going to lunge forwards. Again, we're still stretching through here. Good. And then your back hand comes down to your back knee. Front arm up over the top, big side stretch. Try and keep your shoulders in line with your legs so you're not leaning forwards. Good. And those arms back to the front, straighten your front leg, lean forwards as if you're about to pick something up off of the shelf, and then bring your front hand down towards your ankle, look up towards the ceiling. Super. You should feel a stretch along the top edge of your side and on the inside of your front leg. Good. Bring it back up towards the middle. Lunge back into that front leg, back arm comes down. Lean backwards, top arm up over the top. Good, then one more. Arms back to the middle. Straighten that front leg, lean forwards. And then rotate front hand down towards your ankle. You can rest on your ankle, putting your weight through if you want to. Looking up towards those top fingertips. Super. Back up towards the middle. Twizzle around your front foot, both feet facing forwards. Hands on your hips and squat down. And then shoulder down towards your knees. Big stretch through. Looking over the other shoulder as you go. Good. One more on each side. And then come back up to the middle. This time bring your other foot forward facing the front of the mat. And we're going to twist all the way around, both feet facing the same way. We're on the other side this time. Good. Bending that back knee. Tilting your hips forwards towards the wall in front of you, feeling that stretch through the front. Good. Just let yourself sink a little bit lower if you can. Really feel that stretch in the front leg. So in the front of the back leg. And then relax a little bit. Back foot comes level with the back of the mat. Arms out to the side and lunge forwards. Bending this front leg. Super. Back hand comes down towards your knee. Front arm over the top into your side stretch. Good. Back up over the top. Straighten your front leg. Reach forward. And then front arm comes down to your ankle, looking up towards your fingertips. Bring it back up to the middle. Lean forwards to your front leg again. Back hand down. Top arm over the top. Big stretch backwards. And last one. Front arm back. Straight leg at the front. Reach forwards. And hand down to your ankle. Lovely. This time, bring your top hand down to the floor, frame your foot, bending your front leg. We're going to twist down, step back into your downward dog. Pedal through your feet, big wiggle through. Super. And then drop down onto your hands and knees to floor, big toes together. Nice wide knees. And sit back onto your ankles and just sink back down into the floor. Lovely. Take a couple of big deep breaths here to finish. So just stay in this position to ready to move. Good. Just sink deeper and deeper into your mat. And then when you're ready, just press back up into your kneeling position to finish. Well done, everybody. We're all done. Hope you've had a good stretch. So big concentration on our hip flexors, opening up our hips and on the backs of our legs today.